100 million cases of COVID, 2 million lives lost. The pandemic continues to spread across the globe like wildfire, with no end in sight. There are always lessons to be learned from any tragedy. Let us think about what lessons we can learn from this one. The first lesson is we cannot rely on job security or the government to take care of us in our time of need. We can do all the right things but still lose our job. To depend on the whims and circumstances of an employer for 100% of our subsistence is risky. And while the government is motivated to collect taxes, they are not motivated to spend them wisely. Many people who have worked and contributed their whole life have found that when it was their turn to ask for help, the process was full of red tape, and even if they qualified for any assistance at all, it was often too little too late. This may be a good time for some of us to visit the question of dropping out of the rat race and exploring other possibilities. Which brings us to the second lesson, reducing consumption. People who struggle the most during hard times are those who are already in debt. Debt is financial slavery. Before making our next major purchase, we can ask ourselves questions such as, do I really need a brand new sports car, or am I better off with a reliable used car that I can pay cash for? Or, do I really need to take on a mortgage to purchase a luxury home, or could I be happy in a small house for 1/3 of the cost? The secret to happiness is not to seek more possessions. It is to be content with the possessions that we have. And if we already have too much, it may be a good time to unload some of it. Nobody needs 100 pairs of shoes, for example. Reducing consumption will also benefit our planet. The third lesson is to help each other. Tragedies can bring out the best or worst in people. If you are one of the fortunate ones, extend a helping hand to those who are less fortunate than yourself. This can be in the form of volunteering your time or donating money or goods to a good cause. Mother Teresa once said, "Not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love." Charity doesn't have to cost a fortune or take up a large commitment of your time. Sometimes just offering a few sincere words of encouragement to someone who is struggling can mean a lot to them. The fourth lesson is related to the third one, and it is to respect each other. As an example, in this COVID situation, it can mean to wear a mask when in enclosed spaces. Even if you do not feel you will get the virus, or do not care if you do, even if you feel it is uncomfortable or a hassle to wear one, you are not doing so only for yourself. Wear it out of respect for your neighbor. The golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, becomes especially important during a crisis like this. Some people say that the COVID lockdown has given them more time of solitude, while others say they are cooped up at home with their kids and that it drives them crazy. So lesson number 5 depends on your circumstance. If you are someone who has more solitude, take advantage of it. Become your own best friend. Do those things that you enjoy but have been putting off because you were always too busy. If you are a parent who is cooped up with children who are driving you crazy, then realize how lucky you are to have the time to spend with them and watch them grow. Share fun activities together. Share with them stories of your childhood. Listen to their stories with curiosity. When the situation starts to drive you crazy, take a deep breath. Remind yourself of how mothers in the old days raised 8, 10, or more kids single-handedly, with no modern conveniences such as washing machines, supermarkets, or microwave dinners. If they could do it under those circumstances, surely you can under yours. Lesson number 6 is recognize the impermanence of life. Many of us have lost loved ones during this pandemic. Some of those people were healthy just a couple weeks earlier, and it may be hard to accept that they are now gone. We never know when we will lose a loved one or when it is our time to go. We can live life as if it were a precious gift. We can start appreciating each other more, knowing our time on this earth together is limited. The pandemic has added to the already serious problem of homelessness. Lesson number 7 is, be kind to the homeless. Realize that they are human beings just like you. They are people who have experienced a series of tragedies or misfortunes during their life. Becoming disabled, losing family, losing their source of income or home, having a mental illness, or sometimes all of these simultaneously. Homelessness can happen to any one of us. Have compassion and treat them with respect as you would treat your own family. The golden rule applies here too. The 8th lesson is, be thankful. It is only by divine grace that we have a home, food, and or family, while so many others suffer. Try to be thankful for every little thing, like the coffee you drink in the morning, or the coat you wear when you go out. Some people do not even have such basic pleasures. Develop an attitude of humility, for having these things does not make us any better than those who do not have them. The 9th lesson is, respect nature. Some researchers believe that COVID most likely originated in bats, which could have been sold in a live animal market in China. Many diseases, whether it is mad cow disease, HIV, Ebola, or coronavirus, find their origins in our mistreatment of animals. Keeping animals in cramped, unsanitary conditions, feeding them foods that are not part of their natural diet, injecting them with hormones and antibiotics, etc. Will the next deadly outbreak come from fish, or clams, or lobsters, or chicken, pork, or beef? Only time will tell. All life is interconnected. We cannot continue to mistreat animals without it coming back to haunt us. So that is the list. Again, here's a quick summary. Please note that these are listed in no particular order. Each of us may place them in a different order based on our own life story. In fact, it may be a good exercise to pause this video and try to reorder them according to your own priorities. You may also come up with some lessons that are not listed here. If so, feel free to share them in the comments. But wait, some of you may say, that is only 9 lessons. What about the 10th? For you mystics and seekers, I saved the best one for last. Lesson 10 is to see beyond all this. Remember, whatever happens to your physical body are all illusions to help you in your evolution. Do what you must to survive in this crazy world, always with the realization in the back of your mind that none of this is real. Please stay safe, kind, and wise during these extraordinary times. Namaste.